Just when we thought air fryers couldn't get any more popular, along comes Jamie Oliver, and he finally pushed my mum into buying an air fryer, on the condition, of course, that it had to be this one, the 8.3 litre Tefal dual drawer. It's one of two which have appeared on Jamie's TV show. Now, my mum loves it, but then she's never tried any other air fryer. So I decided to borrow it while she was on holiday to find out how good it really is. And in this video, you'll find out how practical the different size drawers are, how fast it really cooks, and a few of what I think are its design flaws. So quickly, before we start, if you're after particular information about this air fryer, please feel free to skip ahead and find the parts of this video that you're interested in. The time markers for different chapters are appearing on the screen right now. Now, to begin, it's worth mentioning that there are three different versions of this air fryer. This one is the Dual Easy Fry and Grill, and it comes in stainless steel like this and also in grey. There's a very similar black model too, which doesn't have the grill function, and that's just called the Dual Easy Fry. They're all the same capacity and they have the same setup with the two different size drawers. So the asymmetric drawer layout is one of the things that often attracts people to this Tefal air fryer. Both these drawers are dishwasher safe, and although I couldn't find specific information on the non-stick coating used in this model, I do know that Tefal was one of the first manufacturers to eliminate PFOA from its non-stick coatings over a decade ago. The smaller drawer is 3.1 litre capacity and the larger one is 5.2 litres. Now, before I got my hands on this air fryer, I did see some comments from people saying that the small drawer was too small to be any practical use, but that's not what I experienced at all. I found the large was perfect for joints of meat, and the small one was great for sides or for cooking for one if you're at home alone. I even found, entirely accidentally, some sausages that fitted perfectly across the width of the small drawer. So drawer size was not a problem with this air fryer, but we'll get into what was in a moment. Design-wise, this stainless steel version is pretty good looking, and it's actually easier to keep clean on the outside than some of the high gloss black air fryers. It's got a good clear touchscreen display, and on the whole it's pretty intuitive to use, at least initially. Tefal have chosen to label their presets with symbols rather than words, and so you have from left to right a setting for potatoes and fries, which has a shake reminder built in, meat and poultry, vegetables, fish, dessert and dehydrate. There's also an option for manual air fryer and grill, and as expected you can adjust the time and temperature of the presets on this control panel. The maximum temperature you can set this model to is 200 Celsius and the minimum is 40 Celsius, and you can program it for up to 10 hours of cooking. There is also a sync mode that you can choose so that both drawers finish cooking at the same time. To use this setting, you program each drawer separately, add food and then press sync. The drawer with the longer cooking time will start immediately, and the one with the shorter time will display the word hold on the screen until it's ready to start. As I mentioned, this is the Dual Easy Fry and Grill, and it has a grill option which works only in the large drawer. When you choose grill, it will preheat the drawer for 8 minutes and sound an audible alert at the end to tell you when to add your food. But bear in mind that the preheat option is just for this grill setting. You won't see it lighting up when you choose any of the other presets. Not that you actually need to preheat on the other presets, but you can find out more about that in a video which I made and I've linked in the description below. Another thing about the grill is that this model of air fryer comes with two different crisper plates. In the smaller drawer there's a relatively lightweight one, similar to what you would find in most air fryer models. But in the larger drawer there's a substantial die-cast grid grill, which is an important part of the grill function, because it's that which heats up during the 8-minute preheat, so that when you place a cut of meat on it, you get the grill marks seared into it. Something about this air fryer design that is a little unusual is that it has a fender at the back to stop you from pushing it against the wall so that hot air can escape. Now that in itself is pretty common, but the fender on this model is at the bottom of this air fryer and not at the top. Now, this might not seem like a big difference, but if you have upstands on your worktop like us, it can make a big difference to how much you can push the air fryer out of the way when it's not in use. The Ninja Dual Zone, which has fenders at the top, can be pushed back on my worktop so it's 2 inches from the wall, whilst the closest that I can get the Tefal is more like 4 inches. So all of this is useful to know, but not halfway as important as the biggest thing I found out about this air fryer, which is that it's slow. With all the dishes I cooked, I had a feeling that everything was taking longer than in my other air fryers. So in the end, I did a test with a batch of potatoes, which I parboiled, and then I weighed, split exactly, and cooked half at 200 Celsius on air fry in the Ninja Dual Zone Max, and the other half at the same time and temperature on the potato setting in the Tefal. This is what the 2 batches looked like after 10 minutes. And you can see that the Ninjas are much better cooked, even though they were in a larger drawer and they weren't actually cooked on the fastest preset. In another test, I made half quantities of a tray bake and found it actually took longer to cook than the recipe advised for the full-size version in a fan oven. So what's good and bad about this air fryer? First of all, the positives. This air fryer has a 2-year guarantee as standard for domestic use, and Tefal also has something called the 15-year repairability promise, which means that spare parts for this appliance will be available for 15 years, and it's designed specifically to be easy to dismantle and assemble to be repaired at what Tefal describe as a fair price. Honestly, I don't know how we ever got to a place where this wasn't standard, but welcome back, Tefal. I'm a big fan of this, and I'd love to hear from you if you've had a chance to test out this 15-year, or 10-year as it used to be, repairability clause with Tefal. Please do tell me about your experience in the comments. The second positive is the 2 different size drawers. I think they give you more options and increased versatility, particularly if you sometimes cook for just one person. I'm also a fan of the grill plate. I think it's a nice touch and it gives this air fryer something extra over the competition. Now on to the negatives. Now I've already mentioned it, but there's no avoiding it. It's slow, and you can't even speed it up by cranking up the temperature because the highest it will go is 200 Celsius. And as a result, I hate to say it, but it's the first time the results of cooking in an air fryer has actually disappointed me. But, you know, not my mum. She's still very happy with it. The fact it takes longer than I expected to cook things also makes my second negative point even more relevant. Once you set your time and temperature and start the air fryer, you cannot alter it midway through cooking, which is really irritating. So if you peek into the drawer and decide you need a longer cooking time or a different temperature, you have to kill the program and start again from scratch rather than just increasing the time or temperature. And on the subject of controls, there's no power switch on this model as such. It has a start-stop button which wakes up the display and is used to start and pause the cooking process, but no actual off switch as well. If you press and hold the stop-start button, it does go into standby and so effectively turn off, or if you leave it on, then the display will eventually turn off on its own. But I just want a power button, and I know I'm not alone because I noticed my mum was switching it off at the power socket, and then after a few days of this in our house, everybody else started doing the same thing here too. And let's talk about the audible alerts. It beeps midway through cooking on the fry setting, and it doesn't stop until you pull the drawer out. But it doesn't beep at the end of the cooking time to let you know it's finished. So you often miss the food finishing. One other thing is that the instruction booklet that comes with this air fryer isn't terribly helpful. There are a lot of things that are missed out of it, and I had to do a bit of Googling to find out how to completely work this air fryer. In fact, I think there's possibly a whole other video in things that they've left out of the instruction booklet. So there you go, it's a bit of a mixed bag for the Tefal dual drawer. If you've bought it and you want to know about accessories that fit in it, there's a link to those in the description below. And if this video was helpful, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more video guides and reviews of UK appliances, please hit the subscribe and notifications. I publish weekly and I'm on a mission to hit 10,000 subs this year, so everyone really does help. If you want to know more about why you don't need to preheat your air fryer, I've got a video that shows some real-world kitchen tests. That's popping up on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.